Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. Thrilled to have Aude Firmin from London, Wednesday mid-morning, I'll say. Welcome to the show, Aude.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining us. So what's the weather like today in London? It's nice and chilly here, and I know you're heading into the colder weather, so it's like we've both
Yes,
probably
it's the
got the same
beginning.
season.
Yes, it's the beginning of autumn. Start to feeling it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, I'm super excited to talk to you because it's going to be quite an intuitive slash almost like psychic kind of conversation, given the fact that let's start pre what you're doing now. You previously were had 12 years in tech and consulting, working as a senior management consultant to global brands like Microsoft, Gucci, Publicis, Trainline, and more. And I am so curious to understand how you then transformed into now what you do, which is a London-based intuitive business coach, psychic medium, Reiki Master, and spiritual mentor. It's pretty incredible because we've had a little bit of a chat moving from corporate to what you're doing now, and it seems like the corporate world needs lots of it. So I'm keen to get into it. But before we kind of get it right on into it, what you do is you're an energy guide, you're an intuitive strategist, and you help support guide entrepreneurs and leaders to integrate that energy awareness and strategy to, I guess, create more aligned, but you're also redefining what success looks like. And from what I understand, it's that ability to combine that intuition, that clarity, and get grounded, which I quite often need to do, proving that business transformation happens when leaders trust both themselves and the energy within themselves as well. You also trained as a psychic medium at the College of Psychic Studies in London, accredited Reiki, and it sounds like you've got these amazing blended spiritual gifts with the business side. So tell us how you, yeah, tell us your journey because it's quite the journey, like to hear someone, like I said, corporate and to know what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I think in all honesty, I think I'm the beginning of many. And a lot of people are actually looking for this kind of integration, embodiment, and reconnection to themselves. So yes, I trained initially as a corporate and international business product manager in these big companies. And I had achieved the version of success, as we can say, in our society. But inside, I was feeling completely disconnected. I had repetitive burnout. And I was like, I'm not sure that life is about this, or I didn't want to accept this. And I kept asking and investigating for answers. So did meditation, all this kind of spirit, like energy-based things, but are like, what is the answer, and how can I integrate it in my everyday life? So I started Reiki in like 2016. Again, it helped me to realign with myself. Reiki, for the people who don't know it, it is energy healing, and it helps us to balance at chakra level or energy centers. And this is how also I created this current company, the holistic one, very quickly. I got profitable in less than 2 months because of this energy
Wow.
sustenance and alignments and this creativity. And for the psychic thing, unfortunately, I lost my dad in 2009.
Oh,
And
sorry.
yeah, but I mean, it was a turnaround. And a few years later, I had a massive psychic awakening, meaning I was in this bedroom in London with lots of paranormal activities, like in the scary movies with the objects flying, the bed levitating, the music playing by itself, you name it.
Really?
Yeah,
Were you
yeah.
like, what
So
the hell is this? Were you like, like,
yeah,
because I was going to
no,
ask you
it
if you
was
had,
really scary.
yeah, because I
Yeah,
was going to ask you, did you have psychic abilities? Like, did you grow up with psychic abilities? Like, how did you fully like come into it and keep going? Sorry.
yeah, no, it's super interesting questions. I really believe we were born all with psychic abilities when we were children, and you see it with your beautiful doggy as well, that we are able to pick up on things, spirits, or activities. And we have a crazy imagination, but again, what is the limit between the imagination and the real or parallel worlds? And then with time, with age, and with society, we block our abilities.
Yeah.
So I think I had like quite developed abilities, but also I was afraid because I was seeing spirits, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want, I don't want to go this way. Really, be I didn't plan this career at all. I was not planning to be a psychic medium. I was not planning to be a spiritual life coach. I actually resisted my purpose for at least 6 years. Bec-
Really?
Yeah, because I come from this Parisian family, traditional,
Yeah.
not spiritual. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be burned as a witch,
Oh my
or put
gosh.
in a psychiatric hospital, one or the others. But like the outcome was not enticing. And yeah, and long story short, I kept having these experiences, and one day I decided, okay, I'm going to do something about it because I have enough of being scared, and it might be for a reason. Because literally every time I was going somewhere, I could pick up on spirit activities in Bali, in London, and also working in a corporate environment, for example, in an open space, I could start picking up on things within people very deeply. And that's why in these companies, I was called like the people manager as a nickname, because I had this approach of connecting with people's heart, really understanding them, and therefore being successful. And so that's why it started like this. And my last contract was so I created my tech company as well as a consultant. And my last contract was at Gucci. And I
Yeah,
knew that
amazing.
yeah, no, it was very exciting on the paper, and have met and worked with amazing people, but I knew that there was something more. At that time as well, I was in a long-term relationship, ready to get married, have children, settle down, but something was telling me there is something else for you. And my partner at that time was like, "Can't you be happy with what you have?" And I'm like, "I wish, I wish, but there is something else." And
Calling you.
calling me, and very cliche, I had a trip to Bali that like kind of had like this kind of energetic awakening. I went to Israel and Palestine, Jerusalem. That was a massive one as well. And after that, especially in Jerusalem, from a non-religious perspective, I knew I had like the download that it was like my tech career was over, and I had to create my holistic company. So it was 2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, on the paper it's great, but I need to pay my bill, guys. I need to, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I came back to London, impossible to find a job. While in a matter of 2 or 3 days, I will have a very expensive job. Everything was closed. So in this moment, you also start to understand that's like kind of a spiritual message, like go there. And yeah, so the beginning was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I started with Reiki and psychic, started and grew very fast. And then people were like, do you do spiritual life coaching? And then can you help me create my business? And I started to work with more and more corporates who were lost in their life or disconnected with themselves, or looking for a transition. A lot of corporate were grew their business with me or launched their business with me because they were looking for like this kind of integration with their deepest purpose. So I help them channel psychically their purpose and then create their business.
Wow. Such a journey. Like, seriously, it's so many questions. Like, I'm just like, whoa. Like, so you decide, or you go, right, that's it for me from a tech perspective. Like, there's spirit, there's mediums, there's psychic. Like, did you feel like you were guided the whole time though? Like you've come back to London, you're like, I need to pay my bills. Like, how were you? Like, how did you know to take your next step? Like, you've kind of just quit your corporate career. Like, you've gone from like what you thought was what was you were here like well what everyone is meant to do going back to this kind of
Yeah.
like this is what we're here to do sort of thing. Were there moments where you were just like, am I losing the plot? Am I going crazy? Like, is this just like, do you know what I mean? Like, were you having any moments like that? Like, and kind of thinking, I'm having a bit of a crisis, like a midlife, or you're not that old, but do you know what I mean? Like, were you
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
completely. And trust me, be like I mean, from the moment of this psychic awakening, I mean, I had often the question, am I crazy? You know? And
Yeah.
that's the thing is in our society that doesn't educate us with like, you have to take care of your energy, you are able to channel messages, etc. When you have this kind of spiritual and psychic awakening, it looks like you are losing your mind. And often people who are surrounding you at that time have no idea what's going on. And yes, from an external perspective, it looks like this. And so that's why, you know, when you look at tradition like shamanic perspective, the shaman have to go through this kind of life crisis, if we can say, in order to find themselves and reveal their gifts for themselves and the world. And so that's what happened to me. And yes, you know, going back to Jerusalem, when I came back to London, I was like, okay, I'm going to create this company. But of course, my human, rational, logical, and skeptical brain was like, girl, you need to survive in London. It's super expensive. So you still need maybe to do a work in tech. But again, like from an energetic perspective, everything was blocked. And this was not logical because like the market, there
Yeah.
was no reason. There was no reason.
I believe
So
that. I so believe that. Sorry, but keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. No, no, and so that's why, and it happened to me, and it happened to like all my clients. At some point, they take the decision for you if you don't want to move forward. So there is, and there is, you can call them spirit guides or God or universe. It doesn't matter. It's all the same with different words, depending your belief system. But yes, there is this universal intelligence that is be like, okay, girl, you got it. It's going to be fine. But your human mind is going to completely freak out and be like, how am I going to do that? Am I
Yeah.
even qualified? Am I? So of course, doubt, 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 doubt. But you persevere. And I knew that tech was, I had enough of it because even just the idea of coming back, my body was like completely frozen to death. Like literally, it's like I couldn't. I remember after 6 months of trying, I managed to get an interview. But then just the idea of talking, I wanted to throw up. You know, so it's yeah, your whole body, mind, and soul is like enough, enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, you know, and I see that with my clients as well. Often they are stuck in this corporate job, and it's not the problem with corporates. It's more the thing with what is their purpose and what is aligned with them. And they don't get out of it really quick or ever because there is this fear of like, this is the only way I can make money. This is the only way I can be accepted. This is safety,
Mm.
stability, etc. But if you look at it, what is safety and stability in the world of AI, in the world of spiritual awakening, is kind of launching your own business, by the way.
Yeah, it's so
Uh,
true. It's so
yeah, yeah.
it's so
So
true. But it's also like, it's like corporate needs this too, right? Like because I feel like and you would I know you would agree with this, like we're at this point in time in the world where it's almost like we're sick, the world's a bit sick. And it's like souls dying, like we're going a bit I love having these sorts of chats because that's what this is all about. But yet there's this holding on and there's this like holding on for dear life because oh my gosh, like it's the unknown, etc. But
absolutely.
we have so little control of what, like, don't we, like, and that's part of, I guess, what you coach people on exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that intuition piece. It's like the whispers, the listening, and the more we're able to kind of be in stillness, be grounded. Talking to myself here, the more we hear and we're almost guided forward. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's why, and I totally relate to how you feel, B, because again, like in the past, I had like so many panic attack, anxiety, depression, and
Mm.
even like to tell you how I reached the bottom. In 2013, I attempted suicide. You know, it was like really like the down the road, but then a massive awakening. And that's also why I teach and guide today
Wow.
individual companies is to say, you know, it is totally possible to find your way, and not possible, it is our purpose as human beings. And as you said, we are in these companies trying to find our ways. And sometimes it's so difficult because there is expectation of the company culture and the pressure. And at the end of the day, everyone is wearing a mask and everyone is unhappy. And then there are like burnout, loss of money, etc. So more and more companies have invested in well-being programs. But for me, it goes a
They're like
deeper.
this well-being. Do you know what I mean? They're not like
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, no, it's like
yes.
the pizza after work. Yeah, no. And it doesn't create that much impact. So that's why for me, like helping people to reconnect to their intuition in order to make decisions that are aligned with themselves, with their company, with their guts, plus knowing how to manage their energy. Since I've been working with Reiki, honestly, I haven't had like depression,
That's
very
good.
limited anxiety, no stress, etc. And again, Reiki, how to learn it? It's super easy. You have three level Reiki 1, 2, and Master. Reiki 1, you learn it in one day. You have an attunement. You are able to channel the energy. So it's something that is so accessible, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
I've believe it or not, I've actually studied pranic healing. So I've got
yeah,
I do I'm level 3 pranic, and my she I won't call her name out, but I did this years ago, and it was just channeling through me the pranic. Like I was learning so fast. She just was like,
yeah,
and I get
yeah,
messages from her quite often going, hello, my darling, like you need to practice more. And it's so funny because I keep coming back to it. I've got my books and my certificates over there. And I know that, there's something energetically, it's like that, cutting cords and cleaning your aura out. And when you're around the wrong energy because you become disconnected. And, that's quite often what happens in business, but you can then also get sucked in. It's that light and dark energy as well, right? Like light attracts dark, dark attracts light, all of that sort of thing as well. Tell me, in terms of being that spiritual life business coach and also the ability to tap into like your psychic abilities as well, I'm always curious, and you don't have to answer this, but do you like quite often you'll probably get people that or clients that come to you and they almost want you to tell them how to live their life, and it's almost like gospel, right? Do you ever get them coming at you going, you told me this, or why isn't it happening this way? Like, I'm probably not asking the right question. I guess it's more for me, it's within us, right? We have it all within us. So like how do you respond if someone's wanting you to almost tell them what their future looks like or what's going to happen? Because that's not the psych is that the psychic, like what, like that I'm probably not
yeah,
asking.
yeah. I
Do you
see
know what
what you
I'm
mean.
trying to ask here? Like it's yeah.
Okay. And that's also the reason why I resisted this path so long, because I was really afraid of being tackled as like a psychic charlatan, a spiritual
Yeah.
guru, or have people attacking me. And also like you, because I can feel your energy as well. I am very empathetic, and I was like, I'm going to be completely sucked in and, and taken over. But look, today it's been nearly 2 years, and I have plus 134 all five-star reviews on Google,
Oh wow,
and
amazing.
I haven't been sick for 2 years, or I'm saying
Amazing.
like being a cold. So psychic mediumship, the way I learned it and the way I teach it, because I'm also a teacher at the College of Psychic Studies and individual, like private as well. It is to relegate like the message that I pick up in your energy
Yeah.
field with past loved ones, etc. But also for me, what is important is to make sure that people are not disconnected from their own power. Because
Yeah.
so many
Love that.
people want to give you their power, why like take my power and tell me what I do. And for me, it's an education of
Yes.
like psychic is an additional source of insight. It's like if you get ChatGPT, but you also have psychic insight, but you also have to see what resonates with you and what is your truth.
Yes.
Uh, I had like a astrology reading with like a very famous person. And so while I was like already psychic, internationally recognized, and not out of competition, but what he told me didn't resonate at all with me, and so I am in my right to say, look, it didn't resonate. So it's
Yes, so
important to keep
interesting.
for our power and be like, does it feel right, does it not feel right? And that's also what I teach my clients. And for like telling them what to do, coaching is the person to come up with their own solution.
Yes, exactly. It's a
And
guiding. Yeah.
yeah, and the really cool thing about intuitive business coaching, and I don't think anyone else does this, is I help people download their whole business strategy. So it's like literally they are stuck, they have no idea what they want to do, and I take them through a process that is very simple and intuitive, and literally they are able to tap into this field of consciousness and blot in one hour all their business strategies, their branding, their offers, their prices, etc. The work that an agency will do in 6 months. And every time they are blow-minded, even like the most skeptical, because they're like, what just happened? And this is the potential of human beings, you know? And so that's why I'm like, okay, we all have this power. Why are we not using
Yeah,
it?
it's
You know?
inside
And
out,
that's my
right?
point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's inside out, but yet we're so fixated, and I have been for years, and it's my own journey, my own formless journey over the last few years, where I'm like, when your soul's screaming at you, it gets to a point where it's deafening, and you have to listen. And I always now come back to within here, because the answers are always within here. And yet we're constantly looking externally for validation for the answers. But yet, actually, when we just come back to ourselves, and
Yeah.
it's having that ability, but you have to be aligned, like you say, your energy has to be fully connected, right? Like in terms of that. What about, like, so in terms, like, I love this because the world, like we've been talking about, is it's wild at the moment. It's complex, it's busy, people are distracted more than ever. We're all kind of like a lot like this, and but and so how what's the ability to go back into corporate and be bringing this new world order, if you like, of because intuition is so
Yeah.
important, like, but yet it's like I need the facts. It's kind of that head and heart piece we're talking about here. But I feel like it's exactly what you're talking about in terms of bringing that more soulful, intuitive approach, where you do have that presence, you have the purpose, you have the performance. But
Mm-mm.
more and more we're needing that. Like, are you working with businesses and you're seeing a fundamental shift, or are you getting a lot of resistance from businesses going, this is too woo-woo, what are you talking about, sort of thing? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. And again, like things came to me quite naturally because of like energy,
Yeah.
alignment, etc. So honestly, over 2 years, I've never really met like very skeptical people, or it was more people curious, and then it was very easy to open them up,
Yep.
and that it is for individual or businesses. So I work with like innovator, billionaires, entrepreneurs, pop stars, etc. And
Wow.
yeah, and go back to yeah, yeah, I didn't plan it. I was like, okay, cool, why not? It's fun, like literally I work with like a company, a worldwide company who ask for like this intuitive business guidance for where they need to invest, which teams they need to
Yeah, I
recruit.
love that.
The guy is not crazy. He has also a strategy, but I am the 30 or 40% of the decision. I'm literally a consultant in the company. So like it's investing in biotech hacking, etc. So super interesting. I'm in touch with so many topics. But yes, I think people, as you say, they are craving for it. There is this awakening, and they see that the traditional method didn't work. Like especially with COVID, everyone has woken up, and to be like, okay, we don't have so much time to live, and we can be human, be spiritual, or for me, spiritual is not even a branding. Is we have a spirit and a body. That's it. This is what is being spiritual, and we will have even more abundance for this. Again, using intuition and energy, and that's also how I align with them at the beginning, or I get like the door open to me. It's like you will have a lot of money. You will have a better team that is like happy with themselves, more connected,
Mm.
more connected together, and more abundance. Like I've launched my business less than 2 years ago. I'm at 12K income per month. So again, like people will tell you, yes, but well-being market is saturated. Being psychic, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter what you do. It is again like the understanding the alignment, the energy, and the intuition. And as you said, like all the answers are inside, but sometimes we don't know how to access them. So having someone who helps you holding the space and ask questions so you can unlock it is like game changer, and anyone can do it at
Yeah, which is
individual.
the block, which is unlocking the blocking, right? Like in terms of
Yeah,
like, yeah, because quite often we're so blocked and we're also when we're blocked, we're like, yeah, we are sad because we know there's more to us and we think we've got so much more to give in the world and so much more to do, but yet there's times when you just don't know how to unblock yourself. And so it's like having that ability to have someone pull that out of you, illuminate that energy, illuminate that intuition. It's pretty incredible. And imagine if we had a world like this. Imagine if we had a world of leaders and businesses where we were we were leading from this, this new, I don't know what you call it, this new, well, I feel like it's a new form of leadership, right? It's a new form of doing
it's
business. Mm,
conscious leadership, or however you want
conscious,
to
yes.
define it. Yes, because again, like in, and even scientists have measured it with the Earth resonance, like the Earth resonance and magnetism, and I'm not a specialist on this, has changed. So people are having this psychic awakening more and more. So it's more and more common. I'm just at the beginning of the curve and being like, hey guys, let's normalize it. And yeah, and it's then it spreads like wildfire, and it's beautiful because again, yes, you look at the world, everything seems scary and war and destruction, but in parallel, you have human beings who are waking up to this consciousness, facing these challenges, and be like, you know what? I don't find the solution logically, so I need to find another way. And that's
Mm.
how also I started this journey. I like, okay, I have enough of burning out, of getting the same role again and again. And I just ask, like, or pray, or whatever you want to say, find me the answers. I'm ready to live in another way. And then I got a YouTube video of an intuitive called Sonia Choquette, and it's like a rabbit hole,
Yeah,
you
totally.
follow
But you're
the
also
rabbit.
being guided. But I think it's also, don't you think it's a lot of surrendering? Like you have to surrender, like you have to say, I surrender. Like it's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
ability to be able to go, all right, okay, I have to start to trust the process. And I think for me, that took me, that it's still, it still like takes me, sometimes I'm just like, I want to hold on. I want to keep trying to control everything. But the more I do that, the more you do that
the
in
more
life,
you
in
are in
leadership
pain.
and in
Yeah,
business, it holds you back. It actually holds you back. You would see
yeah.
that all the time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I heard every day with different, like from different people or contexts. But I wish at that time I had found, without egocentric, I say that someone like me who is one word in the spiritual and one foot in the spiritual and one foot in the business, so they could guide me and avoid going through so much pain and challenges. Because that's also why people come to me. They're like, "Oh, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do." And they save like 6 years like working with me because I'm like, okay, that's how it works. Don't worry. And you go on the fast track, speedy boarding.
But you're a
And
lift, but for me, or that for me is part of your, I guess, your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your lived experience, right? So in terms of you had to be like you're the frontier, you're almost like you're the trailblazer. You had to have the hardship. You had to go through the 6 years because then it's coming in and going, I don't want to have other people go through and have to suffer as much as that. Like
yeah,
it's extremely heavy to hear what, sadly that you were at a point where you wanted to take your own life. There was a moment there and I've never talked about it a few years ago where I was in Portugal on a cliff thinking the same thing at one point, going, there's just nothing what is worth living for. And it was just this thought. And then it was like, oh, and when you are that low and there's more to it and there's more to you, but it's just like, how do I do it or how do I go? Here you are. Look at you now, amazing, like helping and supporting so many people and, redefining conscious leadership, what success looks like, all of that. It takes someone like yourself to have that experience, then go, no, you don't have to go through 6 years of suffering. We can do it this way. It's still going to be a lot of work. You have to do the work, but here's a different way to do it. But you could only have done that because of your lived experience, right?
and that's the archetype a bit of like, not a bit of the wounded healer. And shamans again go through this with like you have to experience like this ego death, like this
Yes.
cycles
Dark
until
night of the
you
soul.
and yeah, you energetically have the DNA. And that's why, at the beginning I'm like, I don't understand, I don't do much, in a session sometimes, but then people always have a massive shift. And so I really believe, again, we are all channel of energy. So it's not even me. It is like it's a universe spirit working through me, and that's why I'm always watching my ego to make sure that I'm not making like a whoa, I'm so great. Again, I'm the servant, if I can say.
Yeah, I
Um,
get it. Yeah.
and this is the energy that is making the shift, This is the energy alignment. And that's why you and I, we connected and we're like, oh, wow, because there is this energy frequency and then the shift is so much faster.
Yeah.
And that's why your podcast as well is able to inspire people. It's all about energy when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and we're in flow, right? We're totally in flow right now. We're just like, it's, like I feel like I'm, at my energetic best on the
Yes,
pod
yes,
because I'm
look,
just having
your
the
energy
best
has
time. I'm
increased.
like, yeah, like I
Yeah,
said to you before coming on, I'm tired, like having a good old beer, like, and now I'm like, I'll get off here and I'm like, oh, it's night, nearly like, I'm buzzing,
yeah.
because I've had
And
an
this is where you
energetic.
are. Exactly. And like to go back to society and think, human beings are just looking for alignment and purpose. When you have a purpose, when you find your purpose, and I really believe that everyone has a purpose, then there is this excitement and work doesn't seem like work. And when there are things that are not aligned with us, so for example, before the podcast, we were talking about delegating teams and stuff, the energy drops. And this is a clear sign to remove this energy or to shift it. So delegating something. Otherwise, then you get sick. Getting sick is just the result of you not listening to your intuition, alignment,
So
etc.
true. It's so true because every time I get sick, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go again. I say it's the universe. I call it the universe. She's just slapping me around because it's always physical for me. Just it's constantly going, it's true though. It's absolutely true. I think we need to be more curious in terms of, well, what is that? Like I've got this great book a client gave me around when you hurt yourself from a physical perspective, what does it mean from a spiritual
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me?
absolutely.
It's never in the physical realm, and there's always something more, and you think about even in business and, when leaders are exhausted or break their ankle. I did that. Different things happen. It's like
Was it on the
what's
left or on
actually
the right?
going on? What's happening here?
Yeah.
That's what's the bigger picture.
Was it the left or right ankle?
It was my right. So I was blocked. It was complete. I was at a crossroads, and that's when my journey
Yeah,
started back into my actual journey probably really started back in
yeah.
2017. And it was
So
me
that's
that
what
was I started going down the rabbit hole of what does this mean? Like, and it was my
I think.
male energy was driving everything.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I had
It.
to learn about my feminine energy. So tell me a couple more questions for you. And firstly, I haven't even shared, but we've been talking about it a lot. I want to just though I do want to share with you the answer that you gave when I asked you around what is one insight or experience in life leadership or business that you'd like to share. And you said for me the biggest lesson has been that energy and intuition are just as important in business as strategy. When I pay attention to my energy and trust my gut, things flow better. Clients connect more, decisions feel clearer, and opportunities show up. I want to talk about that opportunity thing. It's a reminder that business isn't just numbers and logic. It's also about how you feel and the signals you pick up.
Exactly.
Opportunities, because just quickly, I get a sense we miss a lot of opportunities. And what you're saying is when we're not aligned, no, when we are aligned, opportunities show up and we see them. But when we're not aligned, there's probably opportunities flying at us everywhere, but we just literally can't see them. Is that right? Like, is that what you mean?
I think, what is meant for us will find us. And sometimes we are resisting, resisting, resisting. But yes, the best entrepreneurs and businesses are the one who are able to tune in and get like the opportunity. Richard Branson from Virgin, he has like, I can't remember if he has ADHD or whatever. So he can't focus, but he has a great intuition. So again, it doesn't matter if you are good at mathematics and stats, and I am not, but if you are able to catch on the opportunity or the intuition, then it works. So yes, I really believe that you have much more visibility of opportunities and feeling like, oh, I love Bee. I don't know why. I'm going to contact her on LinkedIn. I don't know this person. And so that's why like things are smoother. And again, it doesn't feel like so much effort. It looks like it's like a video game or a child game. And it's like, oh,
Effortless. Yeah. Yeah.
creative flow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
creative,
Creative flow. Tell me.
it's a picture behind you. Like it's like this
Oh
kind of,
yeah, she's from Bali and all the fingers. It's my mind.
yeah.
I'm always thinking, I've always got ideas. I'm always things drop in. I'm just like, look at her. It just reminds me of me, to be honest. So I've had it for years and everyone comments on it because she's got like about 10 off its so fingers, but I just love the whole, do you know what I mean? And so much going on in her, like, yeah, she's being creative. She's just, yeah, it's one of my favorites. So, but Aude, tell me, what do you think? What does the world look like? Here's a big one for you. And I'm not asking you to tap into your psychic abilities. Please don't think I'm putting you on the spot or anything. But in what do you think, what does the world look like in say 12 months to 2 years time if we have this ability to tap into our intuition and align our energy more?
And I'm happy to tap into my psychic abilities. There is no put on the spot. Um, well, it is already happening, because there is, and I'm answering psychically speaking, there is a big shift that is happening at societal level, both again like from like a kind of dark energy with war and control,
Yeah,
etc. And so people are starting to be like, you were referring of like this anxiety when you feel stuck. People feel more and more stuck. But this is what I see as a great opportunity, and I see that with all my clients is when you feel stuck and in so much anguish, it is just like the threshold for the rebirth, because you feel like, oh my God, I'm dying, and then you crack through through the shell, you shred the snake skin, and I feel like there will be in 1 or 2 years like kind of a divide of society, and we can see it more and more between like more and more control. This has to be this way, and people who are waking up are like, okay, we need to change society, and so
yeah,
that's why. So for me, it is my mission is also from a consciousness perspective at
yeah,
worldwide level is to be able to unite people on the planet and be able to say, look, okay, we can work with AI, but using our human power as well. It's not
yeah,
one or the other.
100%.
It's not spirituality or business. It's not profit or being aligned and being in Bali. You can do both. You can do both. And so I really see people are waking up more and more. And so that's why when I see the word and people are afraid of it, of course I'm worried about it, but I'm also very hopeful.
Me
I'm
too.
very hopeful that it is all the ingredients of disaster for a breakthrough, a spiritual breakthrough, and people saying enough, enough, let's unite, let's wake up individually and together. And yeah, so I think there is hope that we are not going towards complete destruction.
Yeah, I love that. I'm the same. I do believe, and it's people like you, it's people like myself, that are trailblazing, and that's not coming from a place of ego either. Like, you're out there. Like you're doing it differently, and you're doing it differently for a reason, and it's through purpose, and it's through, that whole kind of, yeah, for me, that's exactly why that's my purpose. It's not just to be random and, like there's days when I'm like, oh my gosh, like no one understands,
Yeah.
you have your moments, but there is a reason because I see something and you see something, and there's a lot of people out there that do see something. So how do we kind of continue to grow that collective, that tribe to take us
Yeah.
forward into this new realm?
Absolutely. And like at the end of the day, often when sometimes it's a lonely road, you're like, oh my God, am I by myself? And then you ask for help, or you're like, oh, I'm lonely. And then there are people coming in your way. I send you a message like, hey, B, it's
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
like it's like, who is
yeah,
she?
yeah,
And that's why, like, we have this sign that we are guided, that we are not alone. And we were supposed, honestly, without ego, again, I'm really proud of us, B, because we could be like in Bali hiding and not caring or whatever. And I love people in Bali, don't get it wrong, but we are in the middle of it. You know, we are create change from within us and within
Yeah,
society. And this is brave because, as you said, like, it's instigating changes. It is like putting ourselves there. But again, if it's made coming from a place of compassion, no ego, curiosity, even play, I used to be so afraid of judgment and rejection. Now, but I don't have it so many. And even when it happens, I'm like, okay, that's a redirection. It's all good, It's
yeah, it's so
no,
true.
no worries, and life is so much easier and lighter. And so we I really believe that we have free will, and we can choose to focus on all the dying thing in this world or the light without
All the
being.
bad news. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's why energetically we also have to protect ourselves. Doesn't mean to cut ourselves from the world, but be like, is it necessary for me to know all this news? Because at the end of the day, it drops our frequency.
Yeah,
So
you're so
it's,
right. You're so
yeah.
right. Aude, how do we find out more about you? How do we get in contact with you? Yes, tell us.
Yeah, so I have my website www.audefirmin.com, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Spotify with the podcast, the Aude Firmin podcast. I just launched it, two
What's your
episodes.
podcast called?
The Aude Firmin podcast, but
Okay.
it's very new, and yeah, it will be a mix of a single episode about spirituality in business and having like beautiful people like you. You are invited,
Thank you.
interviews and talking about these topics that are so interesting and relatable to everyone.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Aude, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you. If you have, do you have any other tips, advice, anything you want to share before we say goodbye to each other?
Yes, I think it's given and it is allowed to be successful as we are. If we feel that the system is not right from a company or individual perspective, it's okay to challenge it in a good way. And the most important is to feel aligned with ourselves and authentic. And there, after that, success will come through. So it is exciting time. And again, in terms of energy, we manifest much faster and easier. So it's worth investigating this part because it's superpower we have access to.
I love it. You're the best. Thank you, Ord. It's been, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm gonna get off this now and then I'm gonna be like, oh, I've got all this energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was tired, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm buzzing. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, B, and thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you.